What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate. So listen, UFC 317, Kayla Harrison versus Julianna Pena. Now, some of you know how I feel about Kayla Harrison as a fighter, man. I love her personality, her character. Kayla Harrison comes to fight. She doesn't come to try to win face-offs. She doesn't come to promise the world a spectacular knockout. I'm going to break her leg in 3 different places. I'm going to snap her arm off. That's not what she does. Kayla Harrison comes to back up everything that she's trained for in the ring, in the cage. This fight, okay, one thing that I can say about Julianna Pena is that I see a lot of nervous energy in her. I don't feel that she's nearly as confident as she's pretending. You know, she's doing things like Kayla Harrison is being asked a question. Julianna's jumping in, cutting her off, won't let her finish what she has to say. She's just making a bunch of accusations. She's saying a bunch of things, and it's just nervous energy. It's going to get her nowhere. She's not able to intimidate Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison doesn't care about any of these things she's saying. She is coming to fight, okay? This is going to backfire big time on Julianna Pena if she loses, okay? And I'll give you some reasons for some things, my thoughts and why I feel this way, for one. First off, the reason she's getting booed like that, let's just be real. She's making a hypocrite of herself. Example, the reason she keeps referencing Kayla Harrison as a PFL fighter, she's trying to get the UFC fans on her side. She's trying to make her like an outsider, like this is AEW versus the WWE or something, okay? That means nothing. You at one point was the new chick, okay? Uriah Faber, when he came from Rec, he was a new guy. Jose Aldo, you know, Brock Lesnar, hell, he came from wrestling, okay? The WWE, and of course he had a freestyle wrestling background. But bottom line is he came from the WWE with immense popularity. He fought Frank Mir twice, and in his third fight, he lost the first fight, avenged the loss in the rematch. Third fight, he was fighting Randy Couture and became UFC champion against Randy Couture in only his third fight. So, bringing up these people names, I mean, you know, to say she's from the PFL, it's like, so what? She came from the PFL. Look, let's look at it like this, okay? Julianna Pena was inactive for 2 years. For 2 years. She came back, she fought Raquel Pennington. After 2 years, her first fight back was a title match, and she won. So what is she talking about? 2 years of inactivity. There were other women on that roster that I know they felt deserved that shot more than she did. But what happened, right? She knows that Kayla Harrison is a different type of animal. She knows it. And she needs all of this to try to pump herself up. After defeat, it's always, I was just trying to sell the fight, you know, blah, 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 this and that and the third. The only way that I really see, if Kayla Harrison is on top of her game, and Julianna Pena is on top of her game, I see Kayla Harrison winning. The only way I really see her losing this fight is if she's weight drained at 135. She already has 2 big wins at 135. She usually fights at 155. That's what she was doing in the PFL. And this, you know, 20 pounds, you know, no difference. It's a lot of weight, okay? But at the same time, Kayla Harrison is very strong. And don't be fooled. When you hear Julianna Pena saying things like, oh, you're going to knock me out? You don't knock anybody out. Who have you knocked out? Yeah, she would rather Kayla Harrison try to keep it on her feet because she feels like that's the best chance that she has. She can't out-wrestle Kayla Harrison. Kayla's just too strong. And I don't think Kayla Harrison stopped doing the things that she needs to do to keep her strength up. But like I said, as long as she can handle the weight, I don't really see her. I mean, you never know what happens fight night. things can go wrong, things can happen. Okay, but I really don't see her beating Kayla Harrison. You know, it makes me think back to when Holly Holmes fought against Ronda Rousey. People had, you know, Ronda Rousey on the pedestal of like nobody can actually beat her. And remember, she was talking about back then how she could beat men and she could beat Floyd Mayweather and all these things she was saying. And I remember before that fight happened, you know, I was pulling for Holly Holmes to win. And my thing was, I didn't really know how strong Holly Holmes was. So I know with Ronda was usually, people don't, you know, really want to pay attention to this, but she was usually bigger than the other females that she fought. You know, and she basically, you know, she was just, you know, submitting everybody with that armbar. But for me, looking at it, I looked at Holly Holmes and, you know, what she accomplished in coming from a boxing background, then making that transition to MMA, and she was holding her own. And when she went in there and caught her with that kick and knocked her out, I wasn't shocked at all. But the rest of the MMA world was going, oh my, what happened? You know, like, I wasn't shocked at all. And then, of course, for Ronda Rousey to decide that Amanda Nunes, you know, that's what was next. And Amanda showed her, like, no, you know, because I'm here to win. I'm for real. What people basically thought was that it was saying that, you know, Ronda just had a bad night. They didn't want to give Holly Holmes her credit, you know. But, hey, that's how things happen sometimes. Now, nobody's building Julianna Pena up to be unbeatable, you know, but that's how she's building herself up, okay? And the reason she's getting booed, it's not just the massive crap talk that she's doing. It's because her very last fight, when she won, the MMA world was ready to hear her say, me and Kayla Harrison, let's go. What did she do? She said, I think that the best fight, the only fight right now is just me and Amanda Nunes one more time. You know, we're 1-1. And immediately the crowd started booing. Okay, it was the same thing when Canelo Alvarez at the end was his last fight, and I think it was the Jaime Munguia fight. As a matter of fact, I think it was the Munguia fight. I'm not sure. I think it was Munguia. But anyway, and when the commentator asked him what's next, the boxing world wanted to hear him say, me and Benavidez. Because Canelo talked all of this stuff about not fighting other Mexican fighters because he's Mexican and he represents Mexico. Yeah, whatever the hell, man. So what do Mexican fighters do in Mexico? Just fight people, just fight foreigners to the country? No, I mean, like, excuses, man. But bottom line, he didn't say Benavidez. He didn't say Benavidez. He said he do what he wants and he's Mexican. That's what Canelo said. You know, now, he's not getting massive boos to this very day the way Julianna Pena is, but, you know, he got booed. The Mexican people didn't want to hear that. That was a Cinco de Mayo fight, right? And they didn't want to hear that shit, man. Like, you know, hey, come on, man, let's go. You know, yeah, I mean, and he basically, you know, say he don't fight Mexicans, but Jaime Munguia is a Mexican. You just picked the wrong Mexican to fight. That's all. So, Julianna Pena she's doing a lot of talking, and she's gonna have to back this up. Now, if she wins, people still are not gonna like her because of her attitude and her character, her personality. But if this is what you need to sell a fight, man, like, it doesn't get me. I don't care what you say. You know, if two people sat down, very cordial, very rational, and had a conversation before a fight, I'm cool with that. Because the face-off, I've never watched a fight due to a face-off. I've never been in a position wondering if I want to see this fight or not, and then the face-off maybe change my mind. Nope, it's always the two fighters involved. You can say whatever you want, but once you get in that ring, now you have to back it up. And can you? And I feel like she knows Kayla Harrison is a beast in that ring, in that cage, and she knows this is by no way going to be a cakewalk. Now, once again, things do happen in fights. I mean, we had Frazier Clark and Fabio Wardley fight, and they had a hell of a fight. They had a war. And, you know, I remember one of the commentators in the build-up to the second one made a comment, anytime these two guys fight, it's going to be an absolute treat. It's going to be a war. And what happens is Fabio Wardley walked in there and knocked him out in the first round. So you never know what's gonna happen, man. You know, Ken Norton and Shavers was supposed to be a banger, right? A barn burner of a fight, and he knocked him out. I think the first round too. The same. I mean, so bottom line, first or the second round. I remember he knocked Ken Norton out clearly. Okay, you know, Norton and Foreman was supposed to be a big fight, you know, and Norton got dominated and got stopped in the fourth round. You know, Hearns and Hagler had a 3-round war, but he basically got knocked out in the third round. So my point is that we don't know what's going to happen, but looking at it from what I'm not even looking at paper. I'm looking at who's who does what. I feel like Kayla Harrison is better than Julianna Pena. I think she's smarter, she's stronger, and I just feel like the more trash that Julianna talks is making it worse for herself, because that's when Kayla Harrison, all of that animalistic side of her, that's when it comes out. You go back and watch her from PFL days on down. She, even before that, she never was a big talker. She's always respectful to her opponents. When fighters feel the need to do all of this, and it's like when George Kambosos, he was doing the same thing to Devin Haney. He was talking like he hated Devin Haney. I mean, all of these things, like he was so angry at him, and you saw what happened when they fought. He got his ass spanked twice, badly. And then when you look at other opponents, and you're just like, he never act like this with anybody else, man. You know, he was motivated against Teofimo, and he wasn't intimidated by him, and he wasn't backing down. You know, but he wasn't going for his nonsense, for his stupid antics. But he didn't act like he hated Teofimo. He was acting like he hated Devin Haney in this build-up and talking massive nonsense and how he's going to knock him out, he's going to beat him to death. All these things he was saying, and it's like, yeah, that's nervous energy. And I think a lot of people don't pick up on those things. They just think like, oh, this dude is ready. He's like, nah, not as ready as he's trying to make you guys think. And that's what I feel from Julianna Pena. You're bringing up her being from the PFL and like she didn't earn anything, and she's so angry and upset. Hey, listen, they're paying you the same way, right? They're giving you big money for this fight. Why are you so angry and making it a big thing about where she's from? So what? She's in the UFC now, and you're victim number 3. Okay, on Kayla Harrison's hit list. I just think that it's weird how a lot of fighters feel the need to do that, but they need the confidence. They need something other than what their natural ability is to win. Psychologically, this is part of them trying to pump themselves up. And you know how many times you've seen fighters do what Julianna did at the face-off. They walk up to the opponent, get so close with their fist in their face, and then they go in there with that disrespect, and you see what Kayla did. She put her hands behind her back and just walked right up to her and just stood there and stared at her. And Julianna is, trying very hard to get in her head to try to get some intimidation, because she needs something to tip the scale in her favor. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to say. She just has a very big mouth. She talks a lot. And the thing was, I remember watching Julianna fight several times. She never annoyed me before. She never really really annoyed me before. It's not a personal thing, but when you watch something and you're like, oh, please shut up. Damn, that's what she's talking, listening to her. It's like, yeah, she's very, very, very nervous, not sure of herself. But of course, she wants you guys to think differently. I think Kayla's going to crush her. At least I hope that's what happened, because I really don't like big mouth fighters. I respect fighters that just come to fight. I'm really not into all of the, that's not what make me, get into, to watching a fighter, because they talk big, a lot of tough stuff. It's what they show, in that ring and in that cage. And I just feel like the way she's talking, she just needs to be humble. And there's different fighters who at one point you're okay with them. Then it's, a certain fight they have where you're like, all right, you know what, go in there and break his jaw. Yeah, like humble this person. It's just when they start talking all this unnecessary stuff. You saw the same type of antics out of Rashad Evans towards John Jones. You saw the same antics from Rampage Jackson towards John Jones. And look how they were acting, right? And then look at what happened in the fight. You understand what I'm saying? It's because they knew. They always try to make it personal. We were on the same team, man. We trained together. We did this, we did that. But look at what happened when the fight took place. It wasn't even close. John Jones destroyed the both of them. Devin Haney destroyed George Kambosos. I've seen fighters be disrespectful and still win, yeah. But I mean, like that nervous energy, that's what it comes from. You know, Mike Tyson towards Holyfield, Mike Tyson towards Lennox Lewis. You know, and you see the way the fights went. And this is exactly what I'm saying. And you remember Mike Tyson said, plain and simple, I never just really thought that Evander could beat me. I thought he was an amazing fighter, but I never thought he could beat me. I just wanted to beat him so bad. And yeah, desperation. People say things at one point, then years later they'll go back and take back what they said or contradict themselves in what they say, or finally just admit the truth. So yeah, I mean, but it's a lot of nerves energy. That's what I see. Nervous. I'm not sure that I can beat Kayla Harrison. I'm more familiar with Amanda Nunes. It's probably easier for her to train for Amanda Nunes. Not meaning it's going to be an easy fight for her, but at the same time, why are you calling out someone that's retired? You know, and for Amanda Nunes, I don't know. I don't know why fighters retire and then come back. I mean, when it gets to the point where you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like training anymore, you feel like you don't want to do this anymore, you're questioning why you're doing it, you got to force yourself to do it. When it comes to combat sports, anything really, but especially combat sports, it's time to just stop. Because you know what? When, football, basketball, all those other sports, your hunger can leave and you're not the same player. You're not playing anything in boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, all that stuff. You're not playing. And when people start throwing knees and elbows and feet to your face and your ribs and your head and all of that, it's different. It's not the same as basketball. There's no timeout. Let me sit down, coach. I'm tired. Or nah, that's not what it is. So either you're going to dig down and have that dog in you that you need, or you're going to fold and you're going to end up getting knocked out, or you're going to quit. You see, this is why when people talk big, it doesn't matter. Stanionis versus Jerron Boots Ennis. Stanionis was talking like he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And he made it sound so, he said it with so much conviction, like he really meant it. But what happened when they got in there, man? And when you quit in the corner, they want to say, well, my team knows what's best for me as a fighter. You want to go forward and, keep going with, my team thought it was best that I just, so I just trusted their judge. Yeah, of course, you were happy that they didn't let your ass go back out there, and that's where, my thing is, people have brought all of this nonsense into the fight game where, everybody can't be Muhammad Ali, man. Ali was saying things and doing poetry, rapping and stuff. He's doing all those things to entertain. He's doing all those things to stand out, to be different. And Muhammad Ali told you he got that from Buddy Rogers. Saw him wrestling, like how these guys are booing this guy, but they're in a packed out house, and how this guy, like playing the bad guy, really was getting the attention. So he came into boxing and brought that to boxing. These people are not doing that. They're just full of ego, man. And they just say a bunch of stupid things that make no sense. And it's like all those things you're going to say. I don't care if you're Ali, whoever you are, you got to back it up in the ring. And that's what it comes down to. But for me, it's like, when you listen to Ali talk, Ali talked trash. This is what people fail to say about Ali. He talked trash to build the fight, to sell the fight, right? To get in his opponent's head as well. But when you listen to Ali talk, Ali had a lot of sense. And Ali never made excuses for a loss. You understand? Ali always was humble in that sense. Now, when it's fight time, I'm going to build this fight, and we go. But Ali was always, just, hey, man, he might explain what went wrong in the fight or what he probably should have been doing. But he never made no excuses. Oh, I got robbed. I really won the fight. He never did that. He never did those things. So, yeah, Julianna Pena is just rubbing people the wrong way. And nothing she's saying is making sense. And the fact of the matter is, when she stood there at the end of that fight, she knew everybody wanted to hit. You remember the reaction? They had split screen, and the way Kayla Harrison reacted when she called out Amanda Nunes. Yeah, because you know why? When you are a fighter and everybody's paying to watch you fight, whether it's on pay-per-view, whether it's at the arena live, they are paying their hard-earned money to come and watch two people actually fight, and they want to see a good scrap. Okay? And when you decide, I'm going to play stupid like I don't know what the fans want, right? What if every fighter at the end of the fight said, who y'all want to see me fight next, and then went through a list of names, and the name that got the loudest cheer, that's who they fought? Imagine how cool that would be. Imagine how cool that would be. Because what's happening is, let me pick and choose who I want to fight. And let's just be real. Julianna Pena's career is defined by her fights with Amanda Nunes. Nobody talks about who she beat otherwise. Even beating Raquel Pennington, who really talks about it? You understand? And I'm not saying this to take credit from her. I'm saying her as a fighter, she does not get that, hey, she's a badass. It's just, she's just beating who's there, but there's like, who did she really beat? Like if you talk about Ronda Rousey, people will bring up Miesha Tate, at least, and a couple other names, whatever. But what I'm saying is, and Ronda basically was an extension of Gina Carano, because Gina Carano, you know that she stopped fighting after her loss to Cyborg, and she retired. She's been making movies and stuff ever since. Teased to come back, and remember Ronda Rousey was saying she wouldn't fight Cyborg because Cyborg is a drug cheat, right? First she said I'm not a 145-pound fighter, I'm a 135-pound fighter, and she said, so why would I go up to 145 to fight her? She want me, she has to come down. Well, then when Cyborg was saying it's difficult to make 135, but hey, when she started saying, yeah, I'll go to 135, then she started to bring up she's a drug cheat and all of that. But she ended up saying, but not before she ended up saying she would go to 145 and fight Gina Carano. It would be an honor. Well, Gina Carano had been missing in action for years, hadn't fought in years. Okay, was gone, was doing movies, and to go up just to say I fought and beat Gina Carano, who only had 4 professional fights as it is, and wasn't even, she was still green. She wasn't even the experience that she could have gotten if she kept fighting. She wasn't even that. She still would have been green, which means Ronda would have been the more experienced by far of the two coming into that fight. But bottom line, she changed her mind for her, but that's a fight that never happened. And then I hear Raquel, Julianna saying that everybody knows that she ducked Cyborg. That's why she came here from the PFL, because she didn't want to fight Cyborg. And but that's a deflection. Now she's saying that. Well, who the hell is she to say where and what Kayla should be doing? Reality. You're trying to duck. You want to be able to duck Kayla, and that's what you were trying to do by making that announcement. Why? I know what the world wants to see. This woman is dangerous, and I'm not sure I can beat her. Guess what? I feel more comfortable fighting against Amanda Nunes. You know what? So before people can get that in their heads and let it sit there and settle in, let me call out Amanda Nunes. And that's what she tried to do. And she got booed. Nobody cared about that fight. Hey, man, Amanda's retired. Why are you calling out retired fighters, man? It's like Canelo out here calling out goddamn Floyd Mayweather for a rematch, a 47-year-old guy that spanked your ass when he was 36 and you about to turn 37 and you were 23. And, you got guys like Terrence Crawford calling you out. So don't say Crawford's too small, but Floyd isn't. That makes no sense. Fight who the public pay to see you fight. Give the fans what they want. You guys make big money, fighting for a career. You chose this. So once it gets to that point, when you start picking and choosing, and people start to boo you, they don't care, they don't want to see you fight because you're cherry picking. Who you gonna blame for that? So yeah, I feel like, you know, she knows. I don't. This is a threat, a big threat. I don't think that she feels comfortable and confident that she can beat Kayla Harrison, and that's why she's behaving the way she's behaving. That's why she's so angry, because it's like they're forcing me to fight this woman. So let me try to just talk down on her like she hasn't proven anything. She doesn't belong to be here, you know, because truthfully, if she says why she really don't want to fight her, she'd be saying exactly what I'm saying now. I'm not confident that I can beat this woman. She's a different type of animal. And you know, anytime someone's a good wrestler and they're really strong and they have really good ground and pound and they can take your shots better than you can take theirs. And when I looked at the height now, it's probably, I'm assuming that she had on that Julianna had on high heels, because she looked much taller than Kayla. Kayla had on, they were heels too, but that long, slender, skinny build like that, Kayla has a field day with those tall, skinny fighters like that. Getting them off their feet is not difficult for her at all. She has a lower center of gravity, and she can wrestle, man. Her takedowns is you know, she'll pin you against that cage. She'll wear you out. She'll get you off your feet. She will throw elbows. She will rain down on you. I really can't see Julianna doing much anything other than trying to keep it on her feet. And that's really the best chance she has, is hopefully that she can catch Kayla with something coming in and get her out of there. But overall, I think and I hope that Kayla punishes her. We'll see what happens. And kudos to Kayla, man, because I remember when she was at the PFL, I'm looking at her like, man, she's a quality fighter. But hey, you know what? She's where she is for a reason. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hair to people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.